there, friends. We are in the downstairs kitchen and we are going to work over some produce that went bad on us. Have you ever had fruit where you bought it at the store and a couple days later it's already soft and going bad and you think, well, that was wasted? No, it's not. Today, I'm going to show you how you can take fruit that has gotten past the point of really enjoying it as a snack or putting it in a salad or anything like that. But it's not too late. It's still fresh enough that we can make some jam. Hey friends, if you're new here, my name is Angela and I am the Inquisitive Farm Wife. And I like to do all sorts of things like preservation and gardening and working with my animals. So I encourage you to come on in and become part of the Farm Wife fam by pushing that subscribe button. Make sure you like this video and share it out with friends that you think might enjoy this too. Well, let's get busy and see what went on in my refrigerator. So my daughter had purchased a bunch of fruit the other day and I went to get it and I noticed these plums are soft. And I kind of like I like a soft plum, but not this soft. And although we do have chickens and poultry and things that could enjoy it, I said, you know what? We have not had plum jam in years. And I love to take plum jam and put it with my fresh goat milk cheese that I make and put it on like a charcuterie board or something. And so I thought, well, let's make some plum jam. So you can see it's kind of sticky on the bottom from all those natural sugars. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and rinse these off because plum skin is thin enough that we actually don't have to peel them to make plum jam. Kind of wipe up that sticky mess that was here. And I'm going to grab a paper towel just to kind of absorb some of the water that's going to fall off from our fruit. I forgot my cutting board. So I'm going to get out a clean cutting board and a clean knife. And all I need to do is just, you can actually have these. So if you are making these on the stove top, you could get away with just having them. Today, we're actually going to use something new and something exciting to me. So there is this thing, and it is called the ball FreshTech. So I'm going to put that out there so that you can see it. Good news and bad news, friends. Good news and bad news. Bad news first. Okay, so they're expensive. Good news, they've been around a while, so you can find them secondhand like I did. Bad news, I'm not sure if you can get them just anywhere anymore. So I kind of did the sandwich a little more backwards than you're supposed to. You're supposed to do good news, bad news, good news. But anyway, I encourage you, when you're out at an estate auction, a garage sale, a thrift store, check and see what fun and unique things that you can find. And that's what I did. So for about $10, I was able to get this machine. So we're going to give it a try and see if it works. And inside there was supposed to be a recipe book, but because it's secondhand, I didn't expect that everything would be there anyway. And so I was able to go online and actually print out the recipes, just like you can go on to Ball's website and find recipes if you're going to make it completely from scratch on the stovetop. So I printed out the recipe book and I found one for plum jam. Now I have several Ball books and most of those are actually for like plum preserves or maybe plum jelly, but I didn't find an actual plum jam until I dug out the book for this jam maker. So I was like, you know what? I think it's time to go ahead and make some jam. So I'm going to go ahead and quarter these up and make sure that I'm removing the seed and just preparing it for our next step. And I think if I quarter them, it'll make it just a little bit easier. Okay, so the next step, you're supposed to take a potato masher, which I couldn't find one, so I'm using this Danish whisk. And you want to squish and mash your plums. And depending on if you use a regular or a low sugar, you're going to want an end product of 3 to 4 cups of plums. I did check the directions out and they did say to finely dice these. I'm sure that would help a little bit with these skins. So I kind of wish I would have done that before I started mashing, but I did end up cutting them into 8 pieces instead of the 4, but I wish I would have done about 16 to 24. But I think that'll be okay. And we are right at 4 cups. It is not in this recipe to add lemon juice, but it is also not the way I make jam. I like to add a little bit of lemon juice. Plums are going to be a little tart anyway, but I feel like one, it's going to be definitely safe to have a little bit of lemon juice in there for the acidity, but it's going to keep the color so much better because it will turn brown over time if you don't. So I always like to add a little bit of lemon juice to my fruit. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that in there because this beautiful pink plum, I want to shine through. Nobody wants a brown plum jam. Although it would not change the flavor of it, it's just more appealing that way. So now back to the directions. Wash and pit your plums, finely chop and crush with a potato masher. Measure required crushed plums. Check. Okay, next we need to sprinkle the pectin evenly over the bottom of the pot fitted with the stirrer. Add crushed plums evenly over the pectin. Okay, so here is what this pot looks like. And it goes on this little machine, this little hot plate back here. So I want to just make sure I get that on there. Okay, done. And then we need to add 3 tablespoons of pectin. I buy mine from Hoosier Hill in bulk. So there we go, 1. And I'm just sprinkling it over the bottom. 2. And 3. Now, plums are one of those fruits that if you wanted to do it on the stovetop, you can actually reduce it without any pectin. And that's where you get your, why do I want to say chutney? Preserves. That's how you can make plum preserves, would be to not add any pectin to them. Okay, so, and now I'm going to add the crushed plums. And I'm just going to kind of put that around on the inside of the pot here. And then there's one more ingredient that they suggest that you add. And a lot of people say a pat of butter, and they actually specify a half a teaspoon. So here's my butter. And what this does is it will reduce the foaming. And I'm just going to kind of cut this half a teaspoon up so that it's just a little more equal across the bowl. And so now I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on this, and we're going to move over here. I'll bring my directions. There is no one specific way, so we'll add this onto the maker, and the lid just kind of sits there. We'll go ahead and plug this in. Okay, it turned on. That's a good thing, friends. And it says to press the jam button. So we're making jam. And it says the cook time will automatically default to 21 minutes, and it did. Enter to begin cooking. Okay, so press enter. It's stirring. Yay! I just love a good thrift store bought find, don't you? I'm so excited about this. This is going to make multitasking even better for me because I could be making a small batch of jam here and maybe a larger batch of like apple butter or something like that on the stove top or the crock pot, and then I could be on the stove doing something else. Oh my, wow, my possibilities are really opening up for me. And it says in about 4 minutes, it's going to beep 4 times. I don't know that I'll catch that on here, but after that happens, then we're going to add the sugar, which I already have measured out. You're going to want to add either 2 to 3 cups, depending on if you are making a regular or a low sugar batch. That will depend on what pectin that you chose to use. Mine is a high sugar, so I went ahead and I have the full 3 cups here. See, it's all right there. And so then I'll bring you back and we'll read the rest together. See you in about 4 minutes my time and 4 seconds yours. Okay, I knew I was going to miss it. I did, but it beeped just now 4 times. And so I'm going to bring you in closer and we're going to together add the sugar to this. So we'll take off the lid. It's a little steamy. And look how it has incorporated the pectin. And I still have some pretty nice big size chunks, but that's okay because I don't mind my jams having fruit bits in them. And so now I'm just going to gently kind of pour this sugar over the top, put this lid back on. Not sure what to think about this hands-free stuff because I'm so used to just stirring. This is kind of neat. This is kind of neat. Okay, so then it says add your sugar gradually while continue stirring. I did that. Place the glass lid on the pot. The appliance will continue to automatically stir the ingredients while it cooks. Stay within hearing range. No problem. I'm in the kitchen today doing other stuff. And the appliance will beep again at the end of the process, signaling that the jam is complete. And then I press cancel immediately and remove the glass lid and unplug the appliance. So just in case I forget to bring you along for that, that's what you would need to do. And then you can process however you want. And a few pages down, it tells you how you can freeze it and how you can refrigerate it and how you can process it on the stove. This would be the perfect opportunity while this is doing its thing. If you haven't already, wash your jelly jars and get your canner ready. So today we're going to be steam canning, but if you're water bath canning, you could get that on there and get that started to warm up. So that will be the next thing that we will do in only about 15 minutes. Okay, it was a beeping at me, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. I've got my steam canner on. I've got my lids warming in the back because the lids I'm using today need to be warmed. It's all about the company and what they say you need to do. Okay, so read your box directions. And then we're supposed to get about 4 jars, but I have 5 lids in there just in case, and I have lots and lots of jars out here. So, yeah, just for fun, I'll try to see if I can get 4 that are the same. Here's 5 that are exactly the same, so that'll work. I want a funnel and my ladle. And this is going to be hot, so I want to be very cautious. Okay, and then I'm going to unplug that. All right. Come see, come see. So to me, this looks pretty liquidy. I'm a little bit nervous about this. There is a gel test that you can do to make sure, but plums honestly have a lot of pectin in them, especially since we leave the skins on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put just the tiniest bit of this on a spoon, just a tiny bit. I'm going to go put this over there in the freezer for like 30 seconds a minute. Okay, I lied. By the time I walked to the freezer, I could see that it is coming down in a sheet. So I dripped off 1 drip and then it's a sheet. Check this out. So this is the sheet test. It's probably going to be a soft set, but this is okay. This is okay. And it tastes delicious. Okay, so let's go ahead and jar this up. And I have a feeling we'll definitely get more than those 4 jars. Now, if for some reason I'm not happy with this after, say, a week's time, because sometimes these things take a little bit to set up, because honestly, this is really liquidy, you can reprocess these one time. And to do that, what you do is there is a reduced amount of sugar and pectin that you add to it to reprocess it. And depending on what brand of pectin you use, you would follow their directions. We're wanting to leave about 1/4 of an inch headspace on here. So I kind of feel like I may have to rebatch this since I got so much extra. But maybe it's because I used the 4 cups instead of the 3 cups of the fruit. That could be part of it too. Now that our jars have been filled, I want to go ahead and debubble. Typically, you don't necessarily have to do that with jams and jellies, but because there was some bigger pieces of fruit, just in case, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And again, like I said, it's kind of, it seems a little liquidy to me, but it can be reprocessed if need be. I'm going to kind of let that. I know I'm going to be wiping the sides of this off, so I went ahead and did that anyway. This is just to check for proper headspace. And we are right at where we need to be. So next I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to go ahead and choose to use vinegar. Some people just use water. That's okay. Vinegar just makes me feel good about it because it's a sticky mess. And I'm going to do that one last because I know I did get a little on the edge there because we cleaned it up. But see, you're going to see that pink. And I do not want anything to cause them not to seal because that's why we're doing it. I want to preserve this. And you can go around it a couple times if, you know, like it comes out pink, you know, just turn your rag. Do it again. Like this one, I know I'm going to have to do it a couple times just because of the mess that I know I was making. Find a nice clean spot and do it again. And there we go. And I'm going to clean up our sticky mess with this vinegar. That'll help clean my counters. My magic wand here, and I am going to put a lid. Oh, I forgot my ring. Oh, there's my rings. On each one of these. Then fingertip tight, which means you just, until it stops turning. The jars are hot. I kind of have strong fingers from years of this stuff. Okay, and now I'm going to tilt the hat on my steamer and I'm going to add my jars. Because this is a jam, it will need to process for 10 minutes. Jellies, I think, are like 5 and jams are 10. So what I need to do with my steam canner is when this is in the green, that's when my time starts. So then I will process this for 10 minutes and then I will tilt the hat for 10 minutes and then we'll pull it out. Okay, so the timer went off. I'm going to just move this aside. I'm going to tilt the hat. We're going to let that rest for like 5-10 minutes and then before we do anything else. So what happens is the air from the outside and the air from the inside of the canner can kind of acclimate to each other so we don't have any accidents. Okay, so now I'm going to just carefully move it back over here. Remove my hat. I did hear some ping, ping, ping while I was waiting. Now this one I can see has not gone down yet. There went my timer. And so we'll wait on that. We'll wait on that. And we'll just set these aside. And we're not going to bother them for like 12 to 24 hours. We're going to give those seals a chance. We're going to hope for the best. See what happens. But here it is. Plum jam. And I will tell you, I got so excited. That timer you just heard was another batch of jam going. That's right. So I'm going to turn this back on because over here, I've got another kind of jam. Because you know what? Right now, I am participating in the Every Bit Counts Challenge. And this isn't a lot of jelly for me because I do massive quantities of things. But for just a normal family, you know, like for me I sell at market, I sell on the farm stand and things like that. This is the perfect amount of jam. And I can see this being great for small batches of things. And this is kind of fun because now I can make lots of different kinds of jams and jellies and kind of keep the process going. And it's a lot of fun because then I was able to kind of multitask and do lots of things. So I found like 5 peaches, and there's a site online, a Facebook site where you can find safe alternatives, because in there I found like I think it was a pineapple peppery mango jam. And I thought, oh man, I've got these peaches. What am I going to do with them? So I got online and I checked it out. And so I made a peach jalapeno jam. So if you want to come along with me, I'm going to go ahead and let's see what this looks like. Little bonus footage for you. And if you didn't know, peach is my favorite. And again, it looks pretty liquidy to me, but time will tell. And it's just a rinse and repeat of what I did before. Same head space, same cooking time, all that jazz. And now I have some fruit that was in the refrigerator. So now, instead of wasting the fruit that was starting to go bad in the refrigerator, I found a way to use that last little bit, because that is definitely what this Every Bit Counts challenge is all about. So I hope this encourages you also to rethink how you're using up that almost forgotten fruit in your refrigerator. If you made it this far, I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you next time here at the Inquisitive Farm Wife. Well, had so much fun. My daughter said, I'm not going to get those strawberries eaten. Looky there. Another one going. So, every little bit will end up making lots. And just like that, refrigerator clean out, a fruit that once could be assumed as gone and wasted became 16 jars of jam and jelly for the shelf. So think about it. The moral of the story is here. Think about how you can use things in a different way in your kitchen. Oh, and check out those bargains at thrift stores, marketplace, and more. Bye for now, friends.